happening.
Rachel Moner and the one from Clay, Clay, Clay. Rachel Moner and the one from Clay, Clay, Clay. Rachel Moner and the one from Gratis Homes and Estates, and Scott Miller from Epic Realty, selling homes, talking to the movers and shakers in the real estate world, and community leaders, just two friends talking shop. Sit back and enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe. Rachel and Miller, hey, hey, a real estate podcast.
Yeah, our live audience.
Yes, all of our adoring.
Our live audience is live and kicking. I do say, good afternoon, Rachel.
Hi, Mr. Miller. I don't know why, but when I hear that song, I think about Miller beer.
I think I'm gonna change that song now.
Like I feel like I should be at a rodeo drinking Miller beer.
There you go. Before we get too far into our handy dandy show today, which we're talking about the RLA, and we should throw out all kinds of fun acronyms. Welcome to the Rachel and Mr. Miller podcast, where we cover real estate, real life, and the occasional topic that might raise an eyebrow. We are licensed residential and commercial real estate professionals. However, this podcast is for entertainment and general information purposes only. Nothing you hear should be taken as legal, financial, tax, or other professional advice. And listening does not create a client or advisory relationship of any kind. These are our opinions, our experiences, and our conversations. Enjoy them responsibly. And with that, I will even click it away now so I don't see it anymore there. So
you need a 5-point harness for this show.
Yes, you do. What's fun is you and I agree on probably 98% of the things we talk about, which I know people we could like come up with something that we totally disagree on, but that wouldn't be any fun.
I don't know.
Yeah, you can kick high, but I'm 200 miles away. So so Rachel, you called me yesterday or today or whenever it was and said, "Hey, let's talk about RLAs," and that is a really interesting topic. An RLA, for people that don't know what that means, it means residential listing agreement, and it's one of the acronyms that get thrown around a lot. Rach, do you want to say what the RLA kind of is? Not kind of, but actually what it is?
Yeah. Before I do, though, I just
wham.
But I just want to just kind of dial things back to the day when we were like, hey, let's do a podcast and we can talk about things that can help people that are new to real estate, whether they're new to selling, new to buying, new to being an agent, new just in general. And as any newer agent would agree to, or somebody who's studying to get their license, the documents and the forms and the disclosures and the contracts can really be daunting. I mean, we're not trained lawyers, but we become so very quickly. And when I came into real estate as a new agent, one of the first things that the first brokerage that I went to did is sit down with and printed out a bunch of documents and said, it was like, ugh. It can be really dry and boring. And when you don't have context, the information may not make much sense. So I kind of wanted to dial it back and come back to talking about the RLA, the Residential Listing Agreement. And this is the initial document that as an agent, you would go to your seller when you are securing a new client as selling their property. And this document secures agency, for one thing, between you and your client, and then it all sale of their property. And so there's a lot of language and not a whole lot of action on this, I've discovered. There's actually, there's not as complicated as it might seem. So
easy for you to say.
Yeah, right. And just as anything else, once you start putting things into action, things start becoming clearer. We can tell you all day long how to do the two-step, but until you're doing the two-step, it doesn't make any sense. But also, in general, what came out this week, at least in my neck of the woods, is a lot of talk about. There's a whole lot of changes in a lot of the boilerplate documentation and disclosures that go along with a real estate transaction. North of 40 changes, additions, changes, exclusions, and I have a whole grid of those things. I'm not necessarily going to go through them because that would be a snore fest, but it's just an indication, and it speaks to how things are constantly changing in the real estate world.
Yeah,
you get used to it one way. Don't get married to it, because you know it's going to change. And so one day you might say this one thing, and then the next day something changes, and now your client might be like, yeah, but yesterday you said this. Yeah, but I know, but they changed it. So we're just the bearer of the news. We don't make the rules.
When it comes to the rules, something I heard one of my friends here in town say the other day is, like, all the disclosures and all the documents that we have, California has a lot of them. Every one of them is because of a lawsuit at some point. That's why we have all these different disclosures.
Or an issue at some point, yes.
Right, correct. So that's why we have so many of them. Is, as you know, California is a very litigious state, though our agreements are huge. That's why I really like having the electronic format versus wet signatures. However, there are still people that like wet signatures. Yes. You had a couple of those wet signature people, and that, yeah.
Wet signature meaning, an actual hand signature, and a lot of that comes with the fact that there is a generation a bit older than us, and they're not tech savvy. They don't understand. They're not comfortable with the idea of doing things electronically. So, you've got to print out these pages and pages of documentation and put together a nice binder and take them to your client and walk them through. And actually, it wasn't too long ago where that was the standard. I remember when my mom was an agent and she was helping me buy a condo. Granted, it was a little over 20 years ago, but that's not too long ago. Everything was wet signature. There was no electronic signing back then. And that was only 20 years ago.
There were computers.
So, no, I mean, speaking of that, like, there wasn't even there weren't CRMs. There were, like, all of this stuff came rapidly fast with social media, with the iPhones, with the apps, with the digital age for sure. And that changed the landscape of everything, including how real estate business is done.
Yeah. And, to stay on the RLA topic for the whole show.
Yes.
I have found that there are some customers who have been kind of afraid of, what's this RLA? Because agents are just throwing around acronyms instead of saying, this is a residential listing agreement. This is going to talk about how you and I are going to communicate. This is how, as the agent, I get compensated. This talks about the entire process. And in my world, and I'm going to say, and I agree with this one I'm about to say, agents should not rush through an RLA, including, there's a lot of people out there who have bought and sold lots and lots of houses. However, they didn't do it yesterday. Maybe they did. However, probably didn't do it yesterday. So if you being a buyer or a seller out there, let the agent explain what an RLA is, even though you may know it's a residential listing agreement. Walk through it. And if you have a question, don't be afraid to ask a question. I had a situation recently where one of my friends did an RLA, residential listing agreement, and the agent went in and said, sign here, 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 and here, and never explained anything and just signed it. And that turned into be a very big, ugly, hairy, gross mess. that we had to go back and
Yes,
modify
did.
a lot. Yeah. I think I have additional gray hairs in my ears from that.
Ew.
Because, like I said, it does talk about compensation in there too. And that goes, I mean, almost, I'm not going to go there. Sherry just told me that I do have gray hair in my ears.
Oh, hi, Sherry.
Yes.
Ew.
Now I'm going to be self-conscious. When it comes to the RLAs, as
You
an
brought
agent,
it up.
I did, dummy. When you're doing the RLA, go through it, make sure you understand it, and read them. I can tell you, there's so many agents that just go boom, 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 and don't even read it. And yes, it's written in legalese, which is very fun. But in our day and age of AI, put in a prompt that won't let it exaggerate or invent things, and say, explain this to me like I'm 15. You could say like I'm 4, but then it talks about
Right.
blocks.
So I know we're saying read it. I know we're saying read it. But
Right.
as a seller or as a client, there's, unless they are a lawyer, like I have actually my newest client, a seller of a property, she is a retired lawyer. So she's not going to have any problem combing through these contracts. But for those that don't have that kind of background, you're going to say read it, and they're going to be like, I don't know what I'm reading. So let's start with agency, because the residential listing agreement does a handful of things, and one of them establishes the business or the agency relationship that the seller has with their agent. They are establishing a judiciary service. And so there's 3 different types of agencies, and we typically work under the exclusive right to sell. And so what this means is that you are hiring me as your listing agent, and I am the only one authorized to market and sell your home during this agreement. Right, Mr. Miller? Do you usually choose that agency amongst the 3?
I do. Absolutely.
It is the one with the best protection for you as an agent.
Yeah, the only asterisk I'm going to put with that is there are, well, actually, I think it's now a NAR rule that, like, when you have a house listed, I have to get permission from you to re-advertise the house you have listed, and that's actually talked about further down in the RLA of who has the authority to advertise the house.
Right. So the exclusive right to sell, it gives the agent exclusive right to represent the seller. Anyone who brings the buyer, whether it's the listing agent, another agent, or even the owner of the home or the property being sold, the listing agent is still owed commission to the terms that apply. It protects both the listing agent and the seller at the same time. So it's a good agency to have. It's exclusive and it protects everybody involved.
Yep.
Glad you agree with me.
Yes, it does. Sorry, I was responding to a message on our chat. The one, and you just covered this. What's that?
Who are you talking to? Oh, here. Oh, I was seeing the chat.
Yes, it took me a minute to find it.
I don't see it.
I think I logged in as you, actually. The seller should understand. The seller should exactly, easy for me to say. In the RLA, it also talks about how long the listing agreement lasts, what the property be listed for, what the broker is being paid, what marketing is authorized. Do they authorize having a sign in the? That's a sign for sign. Apparently, is there going to be a sign in the driveway?
Sign?
It's a sign for sign.
Universal sign for sign.
Yeah, or duck. What happens if the seller wants to cancel? What happens if the selling if it expires? And it's all done in the RLA. So I mean, it's a powerful piece of equipment / document that should be filled out to the fullest extent to protect both the client and the agent and the broker and the house.
And the way the document is constructed now is of all of the signatures and everything that is required to be filled in is on the first pages, and then explanations of everything to follow. So it's a multi-page document. It's about 7 pages long, and it's really just the first 2.5, 3 pages that has documents that you actively fill out. Everything else is definitions and explanations of all of the things that you just agreed to or did not agree to. So there's a lot of words. A lot of words.
Sherry just asked a question, and I know where this question is from. I got you, Sherry. What if you have a seller that signs multiple RLAs with other agents as exclusive?
Well, I would say you go back to the earliest date, and that is the one that's valid. That would be my logical approach.
I would agree with that, and I'm pretty sure Sherry. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sherry would agree with that too.
I can't see the chat. I can see that there is a chat that exists. I just can't get into it. But I don't know. Does Sherry have a different idea than that? And also, don't work with that lunatic.
And her aunt, she said yes. The others were all null and void, and too late.
No, null and void.
Yeah. The other ones were null and void. And like Sherry said, and like you said, Rachel, is go back to the earliest one. Which one was the first one there? And the other ones, the first one signed. The other ones are going to be null and void. Also, I believe that Sherry contacted NAR's attorneys, and that's another thing we have as realtors, or realtors, or however we want to pronounce it today.
Realtor.
We have access to real estate attorneys that we can call and ask questions to. And I know that's what Sherry did.
Did Sherry have that? So Sherry had that happen.
She did.
And where did she fall in line in those multiple listing agreements?
She was the first one. No, everybody else got.
Did she go forward with that agency?
I believe she did. I'm waiting for her to respond to that. I believe
we should just have Sherry on.
I would say I think she can actually join us. I'm trying to. Can I call in live?
Well, she may not be wanting to do that right now. She may be lying down on the couch somewhere.
I think that if you hit join, Sherry, I think you can join. I'm looking at my screen and seeing. I think you can, because that would be bitching. Or I can also go like this and maybe.
So Scott, you did mention that the RLA, the residential listing agreement, also discusses marketing, and a seller can decide whether or not they want their property to go on the MLS, the multiple listing service. And that is the main place for advertising that other agents in the area will see, what's going on the market aside from those third-party websites. That some people may not want to go on the open market like that. What would you say to a client if they said, nope, I don't want to be on the open market, don't want to be on the MLS, I don't want photos of my property to go public, they don't want any of that?
It's kind of a stick. I would ask more questions, and then I would explain, and I would explain. We are really going to narrow down our buyer pool. I mean, that's real close to what's called a pocket listing. I mean, it's still on the MLS, but it's not being advertised, so it's not going to hit Zillow. It's not going to hit Realtor. It's not going to hit anything.
No. If it's on the MLS is part of that, they want to opt out.
They can opt out of that. Oh, it's just you have to put on. Nope, I don't want this on.
Right.
There.
I'm under the understanding. if you go into if you put it in the MLS, it automatically populates into those third parties.
You are correct. I'm sorry. You are 100% correct. So
Yeah.
it just after it closes, you can put it in as a pricing only. But yeah, if you do, Bob, you're right. If you do put that into like on the MLS, it is going to
The
populate
MLS,
into.
it pulls. Mhm.
So not doing pictures, not doing any advertising, you're going to really limit your ability. And I know of several cases that people said, I don't want to do that. It was actually some rentals. Excuse me, some rentals that the the seller did not want it to be noted. She didn't want the tenants to know the place was for sale, which I was like, ooh, that's not cool. It wasn't one of my clients. I just heard about it. And so when they went to go show it, they had to do a 24 or 48 hour notice saying, hi, someone wants to come over and look at the property. Why? Well, they just want to look at it, and put the agent in a really uncomfortable position.
Yeah, that's all very, very strange.
Yeah.
Not on the up and up.
Yeah, it's a full disclosure kind of thing. I have a property that I'm not able to show, as there's people there who may or may not have paid rent to the owner of the property. So it's on the MLS and it's listed, but it also says, do not go to the house, do not collect $200, do not do this, do not do that. I had to really get creative with the pictures. Is they're renting there? That's their property. That's their domicile. Oh, I wasn't able to get full pictures of houses and things like that. So it's very, very unique situation.
I don't know how you would move a property like that.
I haven't. Yeah, I have not moved it yet.
So another thing that is agreed on the RLA is compensation to the broker. And we've had numerous conversations about how this whole landscape has changed over the past 2 years. And as I've gotten deeper into the weeds with it, I have really realized how much the broker's compensation has become such a crazy part of negotiations. And it's kind of a shame, actually, and a little bit of a sham.
Right.
People are losing deals because of the very bottom line of broker commissions. And it's a real bummer that people are missing out on the home they want to live in because of that. And it's unavoidable. Like, unless an agent is really willing to just, oh, my doors just flopped open all by themselves. Unless an agent is really willing to cut back on their commission and just be like, okay, yeah, just this is what we got to do to move this property, you know? But it really has become quite the negotiating sticking point. And I'm really curious to see how this is going to unfold in the next 3 or 4 years, because it's still kind of revealing itself. I have a feeling there's going to be changes again.
Yeah, I would agree. And it's I forget how to word this. I have a agent who reached out to me today who wants me to show properties for him, and he wants me to split compensation 50-50 with him. And I'm like, okay. Well, we don't know what that compensation is because it's a buyer who's done a BRBC, who's clicked that bottom box that says, I don't have the funds to compensate the broker. Right. And we don't just open doors, as we've beat that horse into the ground. Sorry, horse. If it just opened doors, it'd be a lot easier, but we don't just open doors. Late night calls, 5 o'clock in the morning, racing down to find out why there's a front door open, chasing away bad guys at 2 o'clock in the morning when you see them on a camera. Otherwise, we just say, "Oh yeah, we just open doors." But there's a lot of negotiation involved, and I'm still thinking, what if the seller's only going to compensate 1%? That's a lot. That's a lot of heavy lifting for 0.5%. And it's not all about the money, but it's also it's not just commission, it's our paycheck. It's how we get paid.
It's our sanity. It's protecting our time, because we have, we need to be productive with our time. And there has to be a balance, and it has to make sense. Like, what did I say to you a month or so ago? Don't take penny listings that require $1 million attention.
Right. I quoted that, by the way.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
So, of course,
Rachel.
there's going to be times when we're always going to go above and beyond anyways. So I believe that agents are worth what they're being asked to pay.
I would agree. Most agents
to get paid. Yeah.
Most agents do go above and beyond. There are some that don't. I choose not to really associate myself
the ones that I know do.
Yes.
The ones that I know do. And
Yeah,
so those are the ones I emulate, and so, so forth and so on.
I would agree. When it comes to the commissions or the paycheck, there's this one kind of drives me nuts. Agents need to stop saying standard commission. That's lazy language. Don't say
there is
this
no
is
standard commission.
Yeah, this is standard. Everyone changes this. Everyone charges this, rather. This is what the sellers pay. This is what the sellers have to pay to the buyer's agent. This is how we do it, and don't try to change it.
And that's why we're in the mess we're in now.
Exactly. Exactly. It's show your worth.
It's why it all got deconstructed, and it's why we're where we are now.
Yeah, compensation is negotiable. And I mean, we all know, we don't all, but in case you don't know, compensation is negotiable. There are options.
Everything.
Everything is negotiable. It's real estate. I was at a caravan today, and somebody said, "Oh, I like this house if it had a pool." And I said, "If it did, would you?" And that came from years of car sales. There was another car salesman there, and I thought he was going to bust his gut laughing, because that's what we used to say in car sales. If the car came with leather seats, would you buy it today? Yeah. And he used that voice too. Yeah. And another thing, especially
that
I was gonna say, a handshake does not beat out of the contract. If you handshake on it, put it in writing. That's huge.
Ink it, don't think it.
And read what you sign. If you don't know what it is, ask. And there's a lot of data on there. A lot. I cut you off. Go ahead.
Yes. I had a client sign it was a lease agreement. And after it was signed, I should say, and it was sent back to me, there was, but I want to change this part of it. And everything had already been signed by all parties. So I proceeded with a addendum, and the receiving party said, "No, we're not signing that, because we've already signed to an agreement, and now you're changing the agreement after we've signed, and we don't agree to this change."
Right.
So there was a big lesson in there, in that be very, very sure your client understands what they're signing before they sign it. Because once they sign it, it doesn't mean that it cannot be changed. There could be an addendum. I gave it a little college try, but the receiving party said no, and they have a right to say no. They also could say yes and be like, "Okay, that really doesn't change anything for us." But at the end of the day, it made things really precarious. We almost fell out of the contract. And then my client basically backpedaled and said, "Okay, take it away." So the big lesson there was, be very, very sure your client understands what they're signing, and let them know that once they sign it, these are the terms of the agreement. And creating an addendum afterwards is not ideal.
It muddies.
Most likely not going to get what you want.
And it totally muddies the water. I cannot speak today. Muddies the water. There we go.
Yes.
Agents need to understand the buyers already agreed to pay their agents, and they have done that with the BRBC. If you have an RLA, if you're a new agent out there, definitely get with your broker, have he or she go over it with you. If you have a coach, have your coach go over it with you. There are, or even put it into your best friend chat GBT. However, I would recommend getting the paid version and not the free version because it can hallucinate a lot. Also, I want as I'm thinking about it, the second week of July, both you and I are in separate parts of the country, but we will not be around. You will be up in the
That's correct.
you will be up north along the coast, and I will be in the East Coast. Yay! I've never been to New York, and I will be in New York. Just as an
I will be
FYI.
there with you in spirit.
Okay, I see. I got the show. Oh, I got the show. I got the show. I got the show. LOL. I don't know. Sherry, I don't know what you're talking about. I got the show. Sherry just said she's got the show. She'll do it. That's what she's saying. I'll cover you for your podcast. That's what she's saying. Sherry, don't make promises you can't keep.
Yeah, okay.
We'll get right on it.
I'm not going to be here either, but she's welcome to. She's like, welcome to step in for the two of us if she wants.
She's like, I'm kidding. I'm out. So we will be here next week.
Chicken.
Yeah, chicken. Nice. Ooh, too bad I didn't. I found when I was waiting to go to the the caravan this morning. There are real roadrunners in Ridgecrest, and roadrunners. And I was taking pictures of the roadrunner while I was waiting for things to happen. And
hey, Mr. Miller, you forgot to mention that my birthday's coming up.
Is it like the 20? Is it Monday? Is it today? When is your birthday?
Close.
Hold on. Is it Tuesday? When is it? It's the 21st, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It's gonna make you sweat. When is it? But you already sent me my present. And before we sign off, I want to share with the large audience that's watching us right now. And Mr. Miller sent me a gun. Miller. No.
Okay, it stopped.
Mr. Miller sent me a pepper spray gun with extra pepper spray and a handy dandy holster. And so
you tried it out on Mark, didn't you? You tried it out on Mark, didn't you?
Yeah, he's hogtied in the closet right
now. No comment. Yes. And I did that from our conversation we had with the chief of police. Is when it comes to realtor safety, yes, is know your surroundings. And I don't want to take this too long, but people say, well, just get a license to carry. Well, there are some brokers that won't allow a CCW. And in my world, the only thing that's going to rationalize me using lethal is if somebody's in personal imminent danger. Otherwise, I'm just going to blast it with my pepper ball gun, and it's hard to do anything if you can't see, breathe, taste, or anything else. And it hurts.
Hurt them and slow them down.
Yes, and then
hurt them and slow them down.
Exactly. Oh, with that, look at that.
So thank you for that, Mr. Miller. Don't send me any more presents.
See, look, we're getting cheering and clapping from the people in the back. See, there we go. So, see, they all like us. Rachel, how do people get a hold of you?
We are going to be here next. We are here next Thursday, though. I'm looking at my calendar. We are here next Thursday.
Yes, we are. How do people get a hold of you, though? I want to know how people get a hold of you.
Oh, they can call me at 805-813-0664. You can email me at rachel@gratishomes.com. My website is rachel@gratishomes.com. And remember, I'm armed and dangerous. So
right?
Be careful.
Approach with caution. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Miller, how do people get a hold of you?
Smoke signals. Call me for dinner. I'll be over. I can be reached at 760-264-3501, 760-264-3501, or my website, homeswithscottkmiller.com. So, as always, always good to see you, Rachel. And
nice to see you, Miller.
hold out after we clear this so we can go in the
Sure
green room
thing.
and have a beverage. So with that,
Sounds good.
we'll talk.